Hearts. So, obviously, this is my opinion. That's the first thing. Second of all, it's all worlds from Kingdom Hearts 1 to Birth by Sleep, Dream Drop, in Kingdom Hearts 3. So, Recoden 358 won't be in it. Stuff like Rechain Memories and 0.2 Birth by Sleep, where it's kind of just in that one world. Even though I would like to rank Castle Oblivion and Realm of Darkness in 0.2, I just thought 60 was a perfect number with all those games combined, so I just decided to do 60. Third of all, there are some controversial opinions, and for instance, a lot of them are quite mixed. For instance, I'm just gonna say the Keyblade Graveyard and Birth by Sleep isn't that high because, for instance, there's a better version of it. And not that the cutscenes weren't amazing that well, but it would not be that high because of, I think I take exploration of the world and music and battle theme before cutscenes. I'm saying I count them all, but in this list it's kind of a bit more focused on that. Cutscenes still do matter, but you will see some worlds that have a lot of stuff happening will be quite low because I feel like it could have just had more. But now to get into it, I think you're wondering what number 60 is, and I know most people are gonna think Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 2, but no, there's actually a world I despise more than that world, and unfortunately I can't actually this world's not even in the game in the sense even its world, so I'm just gonna say it. Number 60, and when their world is in the see, there's a few worlds, by the way, that aren't here. This is like the perfect way to do all worlds. The Pirate worlds, Symphony of Sorcery, Deep Jungle, and the Winnie the Pooh world. So those worlds, unfortunately, I can't do. But number 60 is in Atlantica. It is 100 Acre Wood in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, I was so disappointed. More disappointed than Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 2, because I think that's what they wanted to do. I think 100 Acre Wood in Kingdom Hearts 3 was meant to be more. The shading was great. The cutscenes we got were cute, but what was it? What the hell was that? It was like Atlantica had one room. I think Atlantica actually had 2 rooms. But Atlantica, you went back and back, and at the end of the day, Atlantica's music, yes, was annoying, but at least there was more content than in 100 Acre Wood. You go there for at least 25 minutes. The best thing, the 2 best things in my opinion to come from that world is the shader and Heffalump. Seeing Heffalump was really cool to me. Everything else, no Eeyore, doing the same task 3 times. 3 times doing the same mission with different plants and flowers and that. Why couldn't we just have the torn page? If we didn't need the torn page system, why couldn't just scrap it entirely or had it longer? The fact that a game that comes out in 2019, maybe that's what they wanted it, but okay, at the end of the day, maybe that's what they wanted the world to be, but no. It was so, I was so disappointed once I left the book. I'm like, no. The fact that Rabbit's House was the only, I repeat, the only area for a Kingdom Hearts 3, like, you know, a game that can have so much stuff. The fact that there were no more areas in the world was just, it was, I had to put it at the bottom. It is the only world I don't hate any world, to be honest. Can I be honest, by the way? 58 and up, I actually do like every world in some way because I'm just a massive Kingdom Hearts fan and I like everything. But 100 Acre Wood is just a no from me. So yeah, 100 Acre Wood has to go at number 60 because it's just, I can't defend it. The only things I've said that were good about it were the shader and seeing Heffalump, but that was not enough. It was not enough. I can't believe it ended in Rabbit's House and started at Rabbit's House. It was just, it was so disappointing, and it definitely, in my opinion, needs to get number 60 because of that. Now, don't worry, everyone. Oh, I can't do this song, but number 59 is... Woo, it is Atlantica. So, I mean, I think this is the least popular world in the series, but I think my reasonings for 100 Acre Wood being the bottom is fair. But yes, where do I start with Atlantica? Kingdom Hearts 2. I mean, by the way, every world, so for instance, this isn't Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 1 because I'm not doing Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 1 because of, why am I not doing it? Oh yeah, I am doing it, but these count as different placements. So, I mean, where do I start? It's just the music. The 2 new added tracks were, oh well, there's 3. The 2 new, like 2, Finny Fun and Swim This Way, whatever the other one's called, are actually horrible tracks. Ursula's song was actually quite decent, and I did actually like doing the old songs like that. Honestly, I will say, it definitely doesn't bother me as much as the rest, but I can agree it's one of the worst worlds in the series. I mean, it's still my second least favorite world in the series. Like, I don't know, there was just a lot of... It did have a lot of disappointing things about it, for sure. Like, there's no doubt about that. But, I don't know, just... Why even have water controls if I'm not gonna do shit there? You know, just get one sticker. Ariel, remember... Just this little plot thing, I'm not going to go most of it because the plot was a lot like the movie, which is fine, but Ariel acting like Ursula never affected her life in Kingdom Hearts 1 really bothered me quite a bit. I was just like, what the fuck? Ariel, you know she made your life a living actual hell, and you're acting like, oh, like, this world's just stupid. It's the only world in Kingdom Hearts 2 that, I'm really like, what were they thinking? Because to be honest, I think Kingdom Hearts 2 does have the strongest worlds in the series. Like, not many, like, worlds I'm like, ugh. But that's an exception for Atlantica and Kingdom Hearts 2, because, I mean, I don't know what else to say. Just even the rhythm game, like, the actual controls for it, I mean, compared to Melody, it's just like, ugh. But I don't even know why it wasn't included in Kingdom Hearts 2, but yeah. Also, weird thing, but it has to give a rate. I don't know why, and I think it's a troll because it's still in this game. When you pause, you have to restart. You can't continue. And I will never in my life know why that's a thing. And it's not taken out. It is still a thing to this day. So yes, number 59 is Atlantica Kingdom Hearts 2. Which I think is pretty damn fair. Number 58 is going to go to Yensid's Tower. And I feel like you guys are going to attack me. I'm not even going to go on this one long. This is not Yensid's Tower in Kingdom Hearts 2. Overall, I think Yensid's Tower is a very awesome concept of a world. Like, it's so cool, but I know this is like a really... And I was thinking of not including it, but this is Birth by Sleep, Mysterious Tower. There's nothing wrong with this world. It's just... I literally don't have much to say other than this is a cutscene world in Birth by Sleep. In Kingdom Hearts 1, I wouldn't go that high, but that's, you know, with Twilight Town, but... This is only because it's a separate world in Birth by Sleep, and I have nothing to say. It's just, it was supposed to be, what's it called? It was supposed to be just a cutscene world, and trust me, I think Yensid's Tower's concept's really cool. It's just for what it's supposed to be in this game. It's just supposed to be a cutscene where they all visit Yensid and learn stuff. The cutscenes in it are pretty great, but, you know, Terra seeing Mickey for the first time, Aqua finding out, you know, Terra, like, murdered Ericus, and then Ventus learning to save Mickey, like, but I mean, this was just a cutscene world. A little nitpick, I guess I don't mind too much, but I thought they could have had the staircases again, just to lengthen this a bit more, not just have 2 rooms, but yeah, that's actually all I have to say. Like, there's nothing against this world, it's just, it's what's supposed to be a cutscene one, but I actually have to put it above Atlantica and 100 Acre Wood because it's more enjoyable. Even though they have more content, and technically this could be the lowest, I don't like putting this lowest because it doesn't deserve it. Now, number 57 is actually, you know what, I'll just do like a battle stage for this. Number 57, I know this is weird, but it's Mirage Arena. So there's nothing wrong with Mirage Arena. Again, it was a multiplayer world. There's literally nothing wrong with it. It's just, even though the next worlds could be more rage-inducing than Mirage Arena is just... or Colosseum, which it actually does better than Kingdom Hearts 2 Olympus for the Colosseum. But the thing is, I love for what it does. Like, it's had some fun stuff, but like the thing is, it's this one in Yensid's Tower, the 2 worlds, I really just, I don't know, I really just don't really like counting as worlds, to be quite honest with you. I don't know, it's just kind of like, But I just put this here because, it was really to get the 60, but this Mirage Arena, nothing against it, it's just, it does what it does. But these two are definitely better than Yensid's Tower. There's nothing against these two worlds, it's just like, these worlds don't really feel like worlds to me. Like, they're the least feeling worlds in the series. So, honestly, all these bottom 4 are. Now we're actually going to get into actual, like, I think, proper... This is where I start just, you know, quite enjoying the worlds. Now, number 56 is actually going to have to go to... I think I can actually play this, which is cool. But number 56 is actually going to have to go to... the infamous... Final World. Now, there's actually nothing really wrong with this world. At all. It's just, the Final World is, it's such a cool concept, actually, and I think it's gonna get more dubbed on, and then, by the way, this is the first Kingdom Hearts 3 world, I think it's gonna get more detail about it, but it's supposed to be the simple thing, and I like what you do in it in Kingdom Hearts 3, but, I mean, it's still, I like that you go here to, like, you know, because everyone died, and Sora comes, like, I love the concept, the cutscenes, meeting Chirithi's great, also, catching all the Soras was fun, you know, talking to Namine and, Zora's girlfriend, I liked, was awesome. It's just, like, as an actual, it's more a set piece than a actual, look, it's great for what it does, but for an actual, you know what I mean, like, for an actual world, I can't really put it much high, I feel like. I still love it, but I think you guys know what I mean, it's more of a set piece than a, I mean, it's done in, like, actual, like, gameplay is only finding the Soras. And like, it's not actually much to it. Which is fine, and this is actually, I love for what it is, but, and it's very unique, and the music's actually quite great, but, for that, I can't really put it much higher, and I think you guys can understand why I wouldn't have it much higher. Because, oh no, I just realized I can't leave this. I use this as a set piece, so I'm gonna have to talk about this for longer. Yeah, like, I love for what this does, but... oh god, I just don't really know what else to say, like... It's good for what it is. I may actually have to just say the next world in this setting, because I am a dumbass, and I forgot I cannot leave this area to go to the next world I'm doing. But yeah, I think, that's all I really have to say, like... It's a great world for what it's for. Also, I feel bad because this is actually kind of spoilers. But, it's good what it's for, but, I mean, it's a set piece. It's great. Like, I love the concept of it, but it's a set piece. Oh no. Oh no, I actually have to keep doing this. Okay, well, I'm gonna go to the next world because this is embarrassing. So number, 55 is actually Olympus Coliseum and Birth by Sleep. Now, don't get me wrong, I think the cutscenes in this world is really cool. Phil hitting on Aqua and Zack hitting on Aqua is some of my favorites. You know, the boss fights are quite solid. Even though Ventus doesn't have a boss fight, just interacting and getting along with the friends is great. I think they still did the narrative really great. It's just, I think even though maybe I enjoy this more than a few other worlds above, it's like, I don't know, there's 4 Olympuses in this, I think that's the most featured world in this ranking, and it's just like, I mean, this is definitely the least weakest Olympus, and it's just like, it's not even so much the story, it's definitely more what you do. For instance, Aqua and Terra just do the cup again, which at this point it gets kind of old, like, it's not bad, but it's just like, the cup, okay, honestly, the cups aren't fun, it's like under a time limit, it's actually quite rage-inducing. And then Ventus, all he does is fight jellyfish, literally all he does. It's just when you compare him to the rest of the Olympuses in the series, it's just quite like, oh. I think that's what they were going for, and I definitely like the young Hercules. Like, I definitely like the idea. It was really cool, but I just don't think this... I don't really have much negative. I just think this doesn't deserve to go much higher. I mean, it has one new area, which is the Thebes area, which is just another battle area. I don't even see the point of it, but... I mean, yeah, like, this world is cool and all, but... I mean, the explorability is just like Olympus and KH1, but Olympus and KH1 was better. I like how it was done. So yeah, I have nothing against this world, I wouldn't put it, you know... And I think that's quite fair, I just wouldn't put it much higher. So now I actually want to die to this boss, because I really fucked this up. Try not to watch this for spoilers. This is like the worst video if you're trying not to get spoiled. I'm just gonna try and die to this, because... But yeah, I think that's fair to put Olympus there, because... You know... I don't, like... It doesn't do much more. So number 55 is actually... oh no, 54 is actually another Disney World. And, I mean, another Birth by Sleep world, and that is Disney Town. Now... Disney Town. This is where I start actually quite, just like, I have no issue with making worlds. Like, it just comes down to actual, you know, I have to rank them. Disney Town has, it has quite great, I love the ice cream minigame. I love when you finish with each character, you get a unique ice cream cutscene, that's great. I don't mind the racing, it's definitely updated. Fruitball can go to hell, I think it's actually the worst minigame in the Kingdom Hearts series. The world is... most Birth by Sleep felt quite different in the sense, you know, of going... Like, what I mean by that is each like, Birth by Sleep world, each visit felt quite different. Disney Town, it's literally, yeah, the cutscenes, but it's basically the most similar. You just do, each one has their own minigame, which, by the way, each character can just do everyone's minigame, so it doesn't really matter. It's only the first minigame, and then after that you leave. First of all, you can beat this world by story-wise in 5 minutes. That's one thing. It's just the whole area is the same for everyone, just the Disney Town area. The little Peach secret area, you know, where you do in the cave and you do like the ping pong thing is very awesome. But I mean, after you do it the third time, it's like, okay. It's just like, oh, I'm doing the same old thing. This is if you're going for chess, by the way, which I do, so... the theme music for this world is quite patronizing. I don't hate it as much as others, but I can agree that da-da-da-da-da-da-da it's not the nicest to the ears. It really is not the nicest to the ears. But yeah, I would put, I think, yeah. So Disney Town I would have at 54th because I mean, there's not, like, this world definitely has its more quantity than a lot of worlds, but the quality is quite lacking. I think what holds this world for me is the first time visit is quite great. Everything's fresh. I think the ice cream minigame holds it, and I think it's just different. But yeah, it's probably the first proper world that has a lot to do and like a lot of explorability that I just don't like. I put this above Olympus because I feel like Olympus I've had it 4 times, and it's just like this is at least fresh and new. Even if I like I probably enjoyed Olympus more. So yes, Birth by Sleep's already had a few worlds. So 54 does go to Disney Town. Now, funnily enough, 53 goes to Disney Castle. Oh, I actually love Disney Castle. I love the finally getting to go there. You know, all of us wanted to go to Disney Castle, exploring the gardens, terrain. But the thing is, it's amazing and it's awesome, but it's short-lived. It's only 20 minutes, which is fine. I think that's what it's good. But again, it's just like the end. I think it's just a set piece for the bigger and better world, which is much higher in the list. if I was counting with the other one, it would be quite higher, but I'm not. But Disney Castle's still great. Unfortunately, it's just because there's not enough to do. I mean, after you escort Minnie, which is actually amazing, by the way, amazing set piece, you don't need to go back there ever again until, and then Disney Castle's, like, you know, cured, and then you don't actually get a second visit to the world, which as a kid I was really upset about, but I guess I understand. But yeah, that's what I have to say for Disney Castle. I just think, I mean, you do have the lingering world boss that gives it more points, but weirdly enough, it has way less content in Disney Town, but is far more enjoyable. But everything about this world is amazing. It's just, it doesn't go higher because literally mainly for the fact that there's not enough content in it. But what it did do was amazing, and seeing Disney Castle was amazing. And going to the gardens and that was just great. So yeah, number 53, sorry, goes to Disney Castle. Number 52 goes to the Tutorial World, Land of Departure. Now, there's nothing really wrong. I think this world's beautiful. It's just one of the weaker Tutorial Worlds. I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually do love I think it's great, actually. Like, I'm so mixed, because I think, you know, just a simple little training of Ventus, and then it's great for what it is. It's a great set piece. Again, it's quite short, and it's weird. I know some people probably prefer this, like, oh, I prefer a shorter tutorial, but I think I think it was a bit too short. Don't go on the Keyblade. Finding the light balls was fun the first time, but yeah, it got a bit old. But I mean, don't get me wrong, I actually do quite like this world. It's just, and I actually love the actual, you know, the actual like look of this world is beautiful. Like, this would be one of my first worlds to live in. It's just, at the end of the day, there's not much to actually explore in the Land of Departure. But saying that, I actually do like it more than Disney Town, or I like it more than Disney Town or Olympus, because it's fresh and offers more. And even though it's little, it's still a great tutorial world. By the way, at this point, I really do start to like every world. Like, it just comes down to what I like more. But yeah, I really enjoy Land of Departure. I mean, there's some awesome moments that happen here. Fighting Ericus. I mean, as we know, this turns into the Keyblade Graveyard. But as I said, first comes to me, kind of in this list, explorability and boss fights. And yes, we do have Ericus, but that's about it as a boss fight. So yeah, this one's great. I don't really have much more to say about it though, but it comes more to just quantity of it. Number 51 is actually another kind of tutorial world, Traverse Town in DDD. Now, here's the thing, even though I do enjoy Land of Departure in a way more, Traverse Town wins in the mere fact it just has more to do and is bigger and longer. But even though it's longer, it felt quite empty, and I know Dream Drop in general felt empty, and I also will give the excuse it's a sleeping world, but it's a shame. All these new beautiful areas they actually made in Traverse Town, it is actually really cool. I will admit, it's really cool, but at the end of the day, it also, like, I'm like, it's only for me to get chests and that, like, and the explorability for this world's great, but it just felt quite bland, especially comparing to the original Traverse Town, which, by the way, is one of my favorite worlds, and it felt so lively and homely. And this technically was the hub world, and it just didn't feel homely at all. The music wasn't as good. I will say the new areas were really cool, and that's why it's up here and not lower. The new areas are very cool, but it's what I do in the new areas. It's only talking to Neko and that. The boss fights were quite bleh. The world interview characters, I never watched it. I still don't think they fit quite well. Like, I don't know. They just didn't connect to me that well. I think Joshua was pretty great, but the rest quite eh. definitely not a bad world. It's just very, I'm gonna say it, very bland. Nothing great, nothing bad, just kind of bland. There's nothing I'm really like, whoa. Very bland world. I have to be honest, very bland world. And it used to be another world in Dream Drop that was my least favorite, and it's not much higher than this, but I actually came to like that world more because it just more memorable, even if it's not for the best ways. But trust me, this world doesn't have anything very bad about it, and I definitely think some of the explorable parts are very, probably for some people, really fun. Like, I like exploring the new parts of Travis Town, but actual story, I mean, it gets the story well. The monkey boss is just okay. The revisit is, I guess the revisit did add longer time, but it really was just, oh, hi again, Spellikins annoying everyone. But yeah, Travis Town, just nothing like the original. It's definitely not bad. It's definitely not like I have nothing horrible to say. Just very bland. Very, very bland. And maybe some people disagree. I still have love for the new areas and the Flick Rush, and this is the world introducing the Dream Eaters, and I think it was still very nice to see Travis Town back, but it just doesn't compare to the original. Like, it's not even close, in my opinion. So yeah, number 51 is Travis Town. Now number 50. I really hope this isn't that, like, I really hope this isn't too controversial, because it's weird, I do like this world, but 50 goes to Keyblade Graveyard. Now, okay, this cutscenes in this world, absolutely amazing. Still one of some of the best cutscenes in the war between the Wayfinder tree and Xehanort and Vanitas. Amazing. I think what it comes down to is there's a better Keyblade Graveyard now. There just is. For explorability, set pieces. This definitely has some of the coolest boss fights in the series, like Terranort. You know, this is the final world for all three of them. I think a complaint I have is I think the thing they did wrong, and I think it was just laziness. I think Aqua, Terra, and Ventus should have just started at different places in the Keyblade Graveyard to the end. Like, for instance, one of them should have had that set piece path through the tornadoes, but the fact that all three of them had that set piece path through the tornadoes was very just upsetting. And honestly, the actual concept of this world, Keyblade Graveyard, is awesome. I'm only putting this lower because I feel like it's a cooler version of this now. So that's why I'm putting it lower. The actual cutscenes and boss fights are amazing and would go way higher, but I have to put it down for explorability, and going to the same tornado area 3 times, it just got very tiring. Even without just doing one, it wasn't the coolest, like, set piece, but the tornadoes just made me angry. But, it's weird, I love this, I feel, again, this is where I start loving worlds, like, I have nothing, but I think it's just, yeah, the set piece, the actual set, like, the cutscenes, again, this is more of a set piece world, I feel like, than the actual main, like, it is a world, but, you know, you only have the tornado section, and then you're on to the boss fight anyway. Unlike other Final Worlds that have quite a bit more to it, this world didn't. And I understand Keyblade Graveyard doesn't need that much to it, but it just got put down. And as I said, I think there's a much better Keyblade Graveyard, even though that Keyblade Graveyard also doesn't have a lot of explorability. The set pieces are better and it flows better, so yeah. So number 50 is the Keyblade Graveyard. Again, nothing wrong with this one, I just think my biggest nitpick is I think Aqua, Terra, and Venetian had the same path. But, I mean, great, I mean, first time we actually explored the concept of this world, and the boss fights in that is nothing too bad, like, that's amazing. Also, I feel like I'm bashing Birth by Sleep. I just think a lot of Birth by Sleep worlds did, lack in a lot of things, but there's definitely some Birth by Sleep worlds that are much higher, and there are some really good Birth by Sleep worlds, but I think I'm gonna get attacked because the next world is also a Birth by Sleep world, and it is, sorry, this is a long, this doesn't really have, it's actually the Realm of Darkness. Now, if we're talking about Realm of Darkness from 0.2, which I'm not counting, unfortunately, it will probably get in the top 20 because it's amazing. But again, that's the whole game. Now, the Realm of Darkness in Birth by Sleep was still an awesome addition, but again, it was short-lived. That's the main thing. The cutscenes were amazing. The one boss fight we got was amazing. Fighting the Heartless, amazing. Like, that's so awesome. Like, the actual... But that... And it was just... Oh my god, sorry. It was actually... Yeah, it was amazing, but, it's just... The areas look the same, and that's the point of Realm of Darkness. It's just the whole actual concept of the Realm of Darkness isn't the funnest to explore. And, to be fair, we mainly got all the cutscenes before Realm of Darkness. All we got was the, like the Aqua at the end, in Castle Dreams, leading to 0.2, which is a much, way cooler Realm of Darkness. Not saying this is cool, but I actually do prefer the whole Realm of Darkness, seeing other worlds in it, and then at the end of that, we actually were in the main Realm of Darkness. Like, I just, you know, I find this world really awesome, but, yeah, I won't lie and say that I like this world anymore. I can see how it's more popular, but I'm talking Birth by Sleep. I still think it's a really cool addition. I think it's so cool that it was in, what's it called? Birth by Sleep. But it was only like a 25-30 minute section, and it was awesome. Like, it was still so awesome, but I don't know, I just couldn't put much higher, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is actually, it's just good for what it was, but, again, it's Birth by Sleep has quite a few worlds, like Mirage Arena, Yensid, Realm of Darkness, which it's hard to consider them really main worlds, but yeah, so yeah, I'd put 49 Realm of Darkness. Still love this world, though, still love this world. It's also, it does everything right, it's just what it is. Now, for number 48, a world I would usually, I think 5 years ago, I would have probably at 58. Let's say at 58 or 57 or 56. But the world, after playing it more and more, yeah, this world has grown on me. Don't get me wrong, the grid still has quite a few issues. At the end of the day, it's grown on me, but the explorability is just... Something about it, unlike Space Paranoids, it in a way actually fits it. It fits it that you're supposed to be lost. It's confusing in this computer cinematic, like, just like, where am I? But at the same time, I'm like, oh, like, it just is not that enjoyable, especially the first time I'm playing. I remember just not enjoying this world whatsoever. So I'm gonna be honest, the actual grid, I think too much of it looks similar, and I think that was the idea. I don't know, I feel like the world, like, exploration was supposed to get people annoyed, but I mean, it definitely got me annoyed. Like, I was like so over the computer. I remember I just could not wait to get out of this world. You know, this world wasn't quick either, it was quite a long world. But yeah, that is the name negative, and Realm of Darkness, Keyblade, a lot of these worlds I've already named don't have that. And the reason Travis Town is definitely not as ragey, but the reason I put this above it is it's just more memorable, and I think it does have better aspects. For instance, the Rinsler boss fight is amazing, and I'm just gonna be honest, Dream Drop Distance boss fights are quite bad. Probably the worst out of the series, in the series. They have some hits, but mainly misses. And the grid actually was one of the only worlds to have good boss fights. The bike controls were great. Like, here's the thing, the actual minigame set pieces and cutscenes is actually, for me, what puts this actually higher. So the explorability is quite great. No, the explorability, I mean, it's good for some people, but I didn't like it. Actually having those, MCP, whatever, enemy types was really awesome. They were cool enemies, you know, something other than the Dreamers. I think it's the only time you do that, and I've always liked that in Kingdom Hearts, like, you know, the goons and Enchanted Dominion, the pirate. Like, I've always loved that. Fighting some different enemy types that aren't the Heartless. I've always loved that, and that was no exception for this world. Yeah, the set, like, the actual bike riding, the outfits of Sora and Donald, the music is it's nowhere as good as Space Paranoids. It's actually quite bland, but, you know, the set piece, the the boss fights, the outfits of Sora and Riku are good. You know, that's the only time Riku has an actual outfit change. The Keyblade you get is amazing. The actual, like, connection with Korra, like, we gotta bring the actual, Rinzler cutscene is one of the most heartbreaking Disney cutscenes in the series, if not, because Sora and Tron had a big connection. Just seeing Sora see him fall and, like, look in total sadness was just upsetting. But yeah, unfortunately this world does just have a few too many, like, bad, like, quite annoying things, like, quite annoying, like, just getting lost is, like, the main annoying thing for this world. So yeah, I'm gonna have to, like, I've definitely grown on the grid, but still one of my least favorite Disney worlds in the series, and still definitely one of my least favorite Dream Drop worlds. But I think I put this above Travis Town only because it felt different. It did feel different to Tron. Like, even if it's not the best different, it felt damn different. Now, number 47, I feel bad because I'm bashing Birth by Sleep, but is Deep Space. Now, I do like this world. There's definitely things I like about this world, but let's just get the boss fights are quite unique, each one. Fighting the electric, I'm just gonna say Pikachu ripoff, which was in one of the earliest Stitch movies, is something I never expected in Kingdom Hearts because he wasn't in the original movie, but it was such a good surprise. Gantu was a cool boss, and the Squid, even though annoying, was a good boss. Now, I definitely think it was a unique idea for Lilo and Stitch to actually go to space. But let's be honest, I think we would have preferred to explore Hawaii. Let's just be honest. But I still think it was cool. I think being the only space world, it definitely wasn't terrible. I think it suffers the same thing as Travis Town. I think it was quite bleh. At the end of the spaceship was quite bleh. The areas were quite bleh. Like, it wasn't that exciting. It was never that exciting. I think the boss fights were exciting and the connection with Stitch and fighting with Stitch was exciting, but the actual, each visit, I will say what I liked, they all felt quite equal. The weird thing about this was they all went to similar areas, they started from different parts. But I just think, it's like one of those things, like, yeah, I would have just preferred to go, like, the Hawaii section. And I hope Stitch does come back as a world, but I'm happy Stitch did get a world of Deep Space. It was kind of bland. It wasn't, I think what puts it above the grid for me, even the grid wasn't as bland, I feel like. I think it was still a bit more enjoyable, and the bosses and the cutscenes of Stitch were consistent, and the whole Aqua Terra and Aqua Ventus's connection with Stitch was probably my favourite out of the Disney characters. They did have, you know, Stitch making his own fruit, his own wayfinder was really awesome. Like, I liked each of their tasks. Like, I liked that Terra was actually kind of like, you know, releasing the subject and then escaping when shit got real. I love that Aqua worked with the ship captain woman and tried to achieve Stitch and Jumba, and then Gantu got jealous and then they fought. And then I love that Ventus was kind of the one to get Stitch the hell out of there. Like, he was kind of like assisting him out, and then that cutscene at the end, you know, where Stitch presses the button and that's how he actually gets to the Hawaii. That was such a cool little detail they had, and Ventus getting blown away. So this world definitely has its ups. I just think the other worlds have more stuff that popped than Deep Space. But nothing really terrible to say. It just was quite bland. It was quite bland. It was it's just a generic spaceship bland with Stitch, like Lilo and Stitch characters. And I think that's a fair way to put it. But the boss fights and the cutscenes were definitely the highlight. And I do think the gravity thing was a cool thing, you know, when you switch the gravity and you go like, ooh, like that was a cool little thing they also had. So this world definitely has its cool things. And one more thing, that little spaceship thing was a bit weird. Like, you know, when you go on the top of the deck and you use your, that was weird, like a weird thing. But I mean, nothing wrong. Now number 46 is, I'm gonna be honest, y'all, like, I definitely have grown on both these worlds, but this is my, like, least favorite KH2 world after Disney Castle and that. I feel bad, but I'm gonna be honest, I have to give it to Deep Space. Now, like, oh, not Deep Space, sorry. Space Paranoids. Now, don't get me wrong, I definitely think it's a better version of Grid. And I definitely can, I know, trust me, I know there's people who love the grid. I know people who love space, like I know they love the, honestly, the computer sci-fi, a big thing, is it's just not my thing either. Like, I'm not a big fan of the look of the world. It actually is quite jarring to my eyes. I think it's still unique and cool, but I used to, just like Grid, I used to hate this world as a kid. Definitely grew on it. I still think the bike is fucking horrible, but I know it's definitely grown on me. Weirdly, I actually think the first visit and second visit are quite equal, but I think the second visit probably gets the upper hand because of, mainly just because of the MCP boss fight. That boss fight was really awesome, and like the MCP taking a rating gun was cool. I really loved how Tron was integrated with Ansem being his user. And the only thing is, even though I don't really want this world back, I do, because I want Tron to get justice, but I don't know how they'd bring it back. But yeah, I do quite like this world now. The music is absolutely amazing, way better than Grid's bland music. I just think it was definitely unique, and I can definitely see how it's someone's favourite, but I just think it was still one of the shorter worlds. I think Sora and Donald Goofy's connection with Tron is one of the strongest out of the Disney characters. The bike, what you remember from this world is the bike and the MCP boss fight, and the bike wasn't the most fun, memorable thing. I just love also that this is also the world that actually does freaking, called, bring Radiant Garden to its true name. Like, this world actually probably is the most connected with the Kingdom Hearts story in Kingdom Hearts 2 at least. Like, you know, it is quite connected, and I like that. But I remember just not loving this world. But it's definitely grown on me. It's definitely not as big as Grid, but I think it did the Tron, it represented Tron better. Even though I never watched the original and I actually watched Tron Legacy, it did Tron better because the Grid was just so amazing, so big. And I just think, yeah, the music in this world was amazing. I'm not the biggest fan of 8-bit music, but damn, the music in this world is absolutely fire. And I feel bad because I know some people are not going to be happy, because I know especially Space Paranoids is quite a popular world for Kingdom Hearts. Like, I know some people love it, but it's just not one of my favorites. Sorry. I just have to be honest with myself. So yeah, number 46 goes to Space Paranoids. All I gotta say is I was thinking of doing this all on video, and thank God I didn't, because this is quite long. So number 45. Again, guys, at this point, I really do love every world in Kingdom Hearts. After freaking, like, Yensid's Tower and up, the only two I'm like, wow, that shit is Atlantica and 100 Acre Wood. But, I think a lot of them have issues, though. A lot of them have a lot of issues. But number 45, which I actually sometimes see this world gets more popular than the Kingdom Hearts 1 version. But number 45 to me actually has to go to Agrabah. Now, I could be the only one who really likes Agrabah, but I don't know, like, Agrabah is just awesome in Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, I feel like Kingdom Hearts 1 Agrabah actually is not as popular as I thought. Like, I think Agrabah is one of the best worlds in Kingdom Hearts 1. And unfortunately, Agrabah in Kingdom Hearts 2, by the way, this is, I didn't say that. This is Kingdom Hearts 2 Agrabah I'm talking about, but Kingdom Hearts 2 Agrabah falls very short. First of all, it is the only world in Kingdom Hearts 2 I can 100% assure, in my opinion, has a way better second visit. The first visit, it's so, not boring, but I felt like the story was just like, even the explorability of Agrabah does not feel the same. It doesn't feel like, it just, again, I'm gonna say it had that bland feeling like Deep Space. I think what puts it about Space Paranoids, because it's not that bland actually, is I enjoyed it a bit more because of the second visit. But the first visit, all you do is, you know, try and get the freaking lamp again, and then go to the Cave of Wonders, which, by the way, is nowhere as cool as Kingdom Hearts 2's Cave of Wonders. 1's Cave of Wonders, sorry. You had this silly Abu minigame that was just shit. The drop thing was cool. The treasure room was cool, like, you know, fighting there. But then you get back, you have this funny cutscene with the Pete and Peddler fighting, and then you know, you just have this Ice Titan, Lava Titan, which, by the way, design, concept, really cool, but very easy. Probably one of the easiest fights in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is fine, but it's just, the first visit had nothing popping for it. It was very bland, very bland. It was just like, what? And I remember, I was like, because you didn't know at the time if first visit were only a thing, because first visit was still long enough. I was like, this is all we got. Thankfully, second visit really, strong, I don't know if that's the word, like, definitely, like, increased my love for Agrabah. I actually like the carpet ride. I know a lot of people do not like it. I, for one, do like the carpet ride. And the Jafar boss was really cool. I think Jafar having shit bosses, that's one thing. Agrabah Kingdom Hearts 1 and the Jafar boss was shit, and that's probably my biggest nitpick. But the Jafar boss in Kingdom Hearts 2 was really awesome in my opinion. Very annoying in level 1, by the way. It's not that hard regularly, but I remember fucking hating that boss in level 1. But yeah, very awesome boss fight, but unfortunately I can't really put it any higher because... why can't I put it any higher? Because it was just kind of... I think the first visit, unfortunately, just really put it down. It did. And even the second visit wasn't amazing. It was just compared to the first visit, it was really cool. But again, going to the sand dunes in the second visit, and like, it definitely boosted Agrabah a lot higher. Because honestly, if the second visit wasn't, like, really good in my opinion, Agrabah Kingdom Hearts 2 could have been... It could have damn well near been, like, at the bottom. Now next is actually going to go to... Do I have a... I think I'll... Next is actually going to go to Skylar Adkylum. Now, if it wasn't for Remind, this boss would be way lower. Where do I start? Skylar was actually like 50 at first, and then I put it up. So Skylar is very, very one of the coolest Kingdom Hearts actual designs. Like, the actual look of it is impeccable. I love it. It definitely gives me Greek vibes. What's the issue with it? The actual original game, it was just a boss fight field, which really, like, what? How are you gonna put it in a trailer and hype me up for Skylar for it just to be the final boss fight, you know, area? But Remind, even though Remind, here's the thing, Remind didn't actually, unfortunately, story-wise, put Skylar that higher, but just being able to explore those few sections of Skylar really did put this higher and gave it the ranking of 44. I can see how someone should have it higher or lower, but I think 44 is perfect because I just think the explorability, it was more just being able to explore the town than actually feel like, oh my god, look, like the story. Like, I didn't really learn much from the lore, but that it definitely helped me like Skylar more and definitely put it higher. Definitely still a cool final boss fight area, but it was kind of like, what the fuck? Like, what is this place? I mean, I know what it is, but you know, it was just supposed to be wreckage. You could barely even explore it. But Remind definitely, as we know, definitely put it higher. But yeah. Also, the battle music in Skylar Adkylum is absolutely impeccable. Like, do you hear this? Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that puts Skylar at 44. I don't really have much more to say. I mean, in Remind, during the missions are cool, you know, finding the big heartless, you know, all the little missions you have to do in it. I can't actually quite remember all of them. But yeah, I just remember the missions being quite fun. But yeah, Skylar at 44, I think that's quite fair. So, yeah, Skylar at 44. I really do love that world though. I think it's cool. It's just ooh, this gonna be quite controversial. Number 43. I think probably people are thinking, why hasn't this been put already? Why hasn't this been put already? And don't get me wrong, this world still really disappointed me. It did. But number 43 is going to Twilight Town in Kingdom Hearts 3. Now, don't get me wrong, 100% a disappointment. more than half the worlds I've already said, the fact that it was kind of like Winnie the Pooh, but not as bad in my opinion. The fact that it was actually only had one new area, it wasn't expanded on, it just wasn't expanded on. There was no reason, like, maybe there was no plot to it, but why could I not explore more of Twilight Town? You know, don't show that in the first trailer and then make Twilight Town so small. It was absolutely ridiculous, and I 100% agree we should have had visits back here. I can't believe we actually only have to go once here. We definitely should have had to go back here, you know what I mean? Like, definitely there's just a lot of stuff I'm just like, what the hell? But for all the hate I have for what they did to Twilight Town, it still felt like a really nice hub world. And don't get me wrong, it's still the weakest hub world by far to Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, but I don't know, going to Ratatouille, cooking, you know, the actual visit was still so wholesome, you know, it looked beautiful. Obviously, it could have been so much higher. I still think 43 is quite high. I know I'm being quite gracious, but I don't know, like, I mean, we did have to go back here once for the fucking book, which was the worst part of Kingdom Hearts 3 in my opinion, but I wish I could like it more. I think I like it more than normal, because I think it looked beautiful, and I love going back for Ratatouille, and like going back here for Synthesizing, it still felt very homely. Unfortunately, just they really butchered Twilight Town and making it smaller. And I said some people didn't really care that much, but I was very upset, like a lot of people, that they actually took it down. Couldn't even go in the mansion. The only boss fight here was the actual Swarm Heartless. Yeah, actually very disappointing, but it still had that homely feel, and I hate to put it this high actually in a way, but I do have to put it at 43 because I still have a connection to it. I still have a connection to it as a hub world, but it definitely, I definitely think it's a controversial one. I can definitely see how this should not be, you know, this high. Number 42. Now, I feel like number 42 and onwards is where these are worlds I love in Kingdom Hearts. I'm gonna say it. 42 and onwards are worlds I love in the Kingdom Hearts series. I think that is, yeah, because this world is the first one I really like. And it's actually the first Kingdom Hearts 1 world, because I really think each Kingdom Hearts 1, I know Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds are very controversial, but Kingdom Hearts 1 worlds, also I know y'all are shocked I haven't said Atlantica and Deep Jungle yet, but number 42 is Monstro. There's actually nothing wrong with this world in my opinion. It's great, it's just random, but I love it. It's just unfortunately my least favorite Kingdom Hearts 1 world. I've said it, Kingdom Hearts 1 is the only game I think I love every world. I do. I love every world in Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, it's weird, but I do. This world goes at the bottom, I think, mainly because of how short it is. The music's great, the story's quite interesting and great. I don't know, I guess it's just my least favorite. Like, I still love this world though. Like, it's not, I feel even bad putting it this low. Like, I really do love this world. I guess it's just my least favorite, but I still do love Monstro, don't get me wrong. I love the boss fight's okay. I just think the maze can get a bit annoying, but I still love it. I don't really know what else to say other than it's just, I think the shortness, it's just the shortest and the least Kingdom Hearts world that you're in. So, in that sense, it makes it my least favorite, but I still do love this world. As I've said though, 42 and onwards is, no 42 is a weird number, but that's why I start loving Kingdom Hearts worlds. I love every world 42 and onwards. The worlds before I do think, I've always been like, but all these worlds now I do love. I don't know, I just think I like the other worlds more, but there's nothing against Monstro. The music, by the way, my favourite thing about this world is the music. And even though it is weird now, like how the fuck is a whale in space, it's just such a weird concept, but unique. But I do love it. But yeah, 42, it's gonna go Monstro. The boss fight wasn't that great, but I don't know. Yeah, 42, Monstro. But by the way, everyone, just so you know, I really do love every Kingdom Hearts world from now on.
yeah, that's just the music. You get the Dumbo summon. Sora, Pinocchio's a fucking brat in Kingdom Hearts 1. Oh, Riku antagonizing Sora. Yeah, this one's just, it's pretty damn great, to be honest. Like, I don't know what else to really say other than. Yeah, like I think, yeah, that's all I really have to say. Number 41 is, I actually do just think this is where I was gonna have it anyway. I wasn't gonna put it much higher than Monstro, but number 41, it's just convenient. It's actually Prankster's Paradise, and I really like Prankster's Paradise, actually. Like I actually quite like it quite a bit. Why would I say it's 41? I definitely think it beats Monstro because it has the Monstro section again, which I will say the Monstro section I do not love as much as Kingdom Hearts 1, but it has the Monstro section again, plus Sora's section, the Carnival, which is amazing. I love the Carnival. I love the Carnival. Like, this is such, it's so fun to explore, one of the funnest worlds to explore in Dream Drop, and don't think 41's low. As I said, I really just like every world from 42 and onwards in its own way. Like, I really do. I do like worlds below, below 42, but I just don't love them. But yeah, this world just, it was so cool, you know, Pinocchio world. I was actually happy to bring it back. Going to like the explorability. The ocean area wasn't the best, to be honest. I was like, it's better than Atlantis. Well, most people like better than Atlantis, but not me. Issues I have with the world. I think the story was a bit bleh. Like, the story was kind of like, it was not very interesting, to be honest. I like the Pinocchio cutscenes, but Sora being so dumb in this world really annoyed me, always getting Jimmy mixed up. The boss fights, unfortunately, in this world were very, disappointing. I think it was such a missed opportunity to not have, like, a mime boss fight, like a mime, you know, like, Dream Eater, or, like, I don't know, just having two crabs really sucked. What puts it probably not high is the monster section. The monster section is fine, but it's nowhere as fun, in my opinion, as, Sora's section. And the only reason I would put this just a bit above Monstro is because I think the fact that you get to explore the Carnival was really fun. I actually really love this world. Like, I don't know, it's weird, like, I really love this world, but it just wouldn't go any higher for me. But at this point, I will be honest, all worlds are very close. Like, worlds are very close. It was very hard for me at this point to decide. Monstro and onwards, I just remember really struggling. I was like, oh, what do I put at 41? What do I put at, like, it was just, yeah, so, in all honesty, it was not easy, and that end was very embarrassing. But yeah, number 41 goes to Prankster's Paradise. Now, let's go to number 40, the last one. And the last one, well, not last one, like in the first part, number 40 is another Kingdom Hearts 1 world. It was actually hard for me between this and Prankster's Paradise, but I think since this one, like, it is more nostalgic to me in Prankster's Paradise, I haven't played as much, I have to give it to the infamous, the first Disney world you ever go to, Wonderland. I mean, oh, as a kid, I never hated this world, but always confused me, always lost. And I do think, I can see the controversy, I can see how it's a bit lazy design, like the walls, but I think that's how Wonderland's supposed to be. Wonderland is just, yeah, Wonderland's grown on me quite a bit as well. Trickmaster I actually think is an iconic boss. Queen of Hearts fighting her and her minions were, like, the cars were cool. Even though Prankster's Paradise, I could see explorability could be funner. I think I have to give it to this because this is the first Disney one. So this is actually one of the most played worlds I've ever played in Kingdom Hearts series, because I remember sometimes not even beating Kingdom Hearts, like always giving up, like, to the start as a kid. And so Wonderland is very nostalgic. The music, I just think the music's amazing. Trickmaster, I'm gonna say, is the first hard boss in the Kingdom Hearts series, like a hard, like, maybe there's probably gonna be people say, I never struggled on Trickmaster, but good for you. But as a kid, Trickmaster was a pain in the ass. Oh my god, Trickmaster was a hell. And I know from 2 friends I got in, one friend actually stopped playing after Trickmaster, and that was actually his border. If he didn't beat Trickmaster, he may have never even gone further in the Kingdom Hearts series. And then my other friend was on Trickmaster for a while as well. So, Trickmaster is very iconic. I think my biggest issue with Wonderland, honestly, is I think Alice just deserved more screen time, especially if you're going to get her voice actor from 50 years ago. The Bazaar Room was cool, but I would have preferred a few other areas in like the actual Wonderland. And I think my biggest critique is actually just missing a lot of the Wonderland characters. Like, how the hell was Mad Hatter not an actual character who you talk to in Big Earth? That was so odd to me. And same with Tweedledee and Tweety Dum. I just think there was some very missed opportunity characters. But you know, we have the doorknob before frickin' that. But honestly, this is a great world, and I definitely grown on it, and I just love the weirdness of it, and it just suits Wonderland perfectly. It's very Wonderland, the weirdness. Also, the Cheshire Cat not having a world was not amazing. The one thing I'll give Recoded and 358 is they had maze sections, which Wonderland could have really profited off. But I do quite love Wonderland. So, yeah, number 40 is Wonderland. And that is the end of my first part of my top 60 Kingdom Hearts worlds in the series. Jesus, it's gonna be long. And I am so happy. I actually can't believe I was considering doing it all in one video. I am just tired doing 20. So see you in part 2. Hope you don't hate my ranking.